development model that we use behind, and also we would like to share some successful cases with you all.
Charles, why don't you start with telling our audience, what is Hotel Hkma and what makes ourselves special?
Sure. Hotel Hkma opened its door in 2011 with a very special purpose, not only to be the world's first teaching hotel, but also to be with the independent hotel with state-of-the-art service design at the core. We, being fully owned by the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, Hotel Hkma offers 262 guest rooms and suites, 3 award-winning restaurants, and currently we're employing 400 people, including our colleagues and also interns.
Yes, Charles. Apart from that, Hotel Hkma serves an important purpose in connecting our stakeholders, as shown on the PowerPoint, PolyU, School of Hotel and Tourism Management, the student, the guests, the community, and industry in Hong Kong to China and the rest of the world. Through various activities such as research and development, brand service and products, service design, IT innovations, workshops, forums, and executive program. Echoing to our Belt and Road Tourism initiative in Hong Kong, Hotel Hkma assumes an important role in developing a pool of high-caliber hospitality talents. And also, training, of course, is one of our essential elements. Therefore, since 2011, Hotel Hkma has been inspiring talents. Over 650 students, interns have been trained on the job at Hotel Hkma. And also, over 490 full-time staff were trained and moved on to another hotel in Hong Kong with promotions. Another fact about Hotel Hkma is that our staff are very young. The average age is 26 years old. Charles, do you mind sharing with our audience, as a newly promoted training manager, how old are you?
Well, I am actually on the first column, I wish. I'm actually 27, and the second column.
Very well.
So how about you?
But you can assume that I'm 25, like everyone says in young, sorry. But I'm also going to the 18 to 34 years old category.
Let me just revise my answer. I'm actually beyond this column. I'm like 5 if you're 25 then, okay?
All we want to point out here is that in Hotel Hkma, we have a group of very young, playful, and energetic staff. All right, after Hkma's introduction, let's look into our We Love to Care training program. When we are designing this skill set training, we have adopted this ADDIE model as shown on the screen. A stands for analysis, first D stands for design, second D stands for development, I stands for implementation, and E stands for evaluation. Well, in 2016 December, our TripAdvisor ranking has dropped from 3rd to 5, and we have seen it as one of our challenges in the hotel. And also, we have also received some negative comments from our post-stay survey and also on TripAdvisor. It rings a bell. Now, we have to identify our performance gap. What have we done? We have conducted a training needs analysis by inviting our management to be on the floor to observe where is the inconsistent service. Also, and doing analysis in our post-stay survey and also reviews mentioned online such as TripAdvisor and Booking.com. Subsequently, we have conducted quality audit in various areas as well. We then found out the root cause about the drop in TripAdvisor and also a negative review was due to, as we mentioned, we have a group of very young workforce who are eager to learn and require trainings. And secondly, we have an inconsistent service quality. As we found out, majority of the excellent service are provided by some of our staff colleagues. Those are the high performers on the floor. And those amount to only 10 to 15 colleagues in Hotel Hkma. And last but not least, we have a high turnover rate in Hotel Hkma, amount to 31%. But here in Hotel Hkma, as one of our mission, is to nurture future talents. Therefore, when we have a high turnover rate, we actually embrace it. Because when our young colleagues join Hotel Hkma, after years of trainings, if they want to move to another hotel with a better promotion to contribute to the hospitality industry, we actually encourage them to go so. That's why in Hotel Hkma, we have a constant demand in recruiting and training.
Well, to tackle this problem in 3 root causes, we have created the We Love to Care training initiative back to 2017 with 2 very important program objectives. The first one is to genuinely inspire talents. They're referring to our currently employed 360 existing colleagues and full-time staff. At the same time, to provide a real-life learning environment to our emerging colleagues. That means the interns from PolyU and also from around the globe. The second one is about to create a unique experience for our food and beverage guests. At the same time, our room guests, they are very international, at the same time, very local. To achieve these 2 goals, we have set a SMART goal framework within a 12-month period, we would like to improve our service consistency, moving from good to great by monitoring the guest review at the same time, the service audit results, and keeping our service style aligned with our brand narrative. Well, Angela, would you also like to tell us more on the design?
Yes. When we move to the design phase, we ask ourselves, how do we make our design and our trainings interactive? So using a service technique, Charles and I locked up together with the management on a monthly basis for over a year for brainstorming session to design the entire guest experience and journey. It includes front office arrival, food and beverage experience, as well as club engagement as well, so as to further determine our recruitment and training needs. And then we have further designed a unique service excellence pyramid, which consisted of 3 levels. Let's look at the first level, operational excellence. It refers to all the basic skills and techniques that the staff is required to carry out the job tasks with dedication and excellency. When we are demonstrating the first level of operational excellency to our team, we ask them questions. How do we do things right? What are the service sequence to deliver an excellent service? We then move on to the second level, aesthetic excellence. We want to always create the most comfortable ambience for our guests. Therefore, we pay a lot of attention to the temperature of the room, the lighting, the cleanliness of the surrounding as well. And also, grooming is an essential part when we talk about the aesthetic excellence. Last but not the least, we move up to the emotional excellence. We want all our staff to take care of our team, to take care of our guests, turning the moments into memory, and also ultimately add values to the journey. We want every single guest, when they leave Hotel Hkma, they will have a story to tell to their friends and to tell to their family.
Okay, Angela. Well, as far as I know, this is a 3-day training program. It's quite a long duration, right? How to make it interactive and fun?
We strongly believe in that human learns the best through experience and reflection. Therefore, when we design the training, we add the discussions to exchange ideas, exercise to experience and reflect, sequencing activities for our staff to structure and the learning outcome, and last but not the least, role play is essential to put the theory into practice.
Well, actually during the course, especially when we are talking about communication skills, this morning we did a dancing, right? But we didn't really invite anyone outside of the Hkma because we got Angela. She was actually a formal dancer going back to 19 something, okay? Well, to make the whole class fun, interactive, we did something like that. Do you want to see her dance? Well, okay.
During the communication training, we blindfold our colleagues because we want to talk about the importance of listening and also giving instruction through communication skills. So we will give them instructions as in, doing some fun dance for all the youth, like you guys like pop, lock, break dance, right? So we do like raves, like stuff like that. Okay, I will keep it over here.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, so let's move on to the next stage. It's about the development of the program content. While we were developing it, we designed a training material called the Point of Engagement, POE, which is very, very important because actually in the Point of Engagement, it lists out the whole guest journey, starting from the first moment they interact with our people until the last moment they interact with our people. And we hope that during every point of engagement, each touch point, service touch point, our people will be able to get the wow story to create a memorable experience with our guests. Well, let's take an example here. It's a front office arrival POE. This is half. Starting from the first point before arrival until the 5th point, lobby greeting. They're pretty standardized because our guests, they either take limousine or arrive at our hotel by their own transportation, right? However, going to the last part, point 6 until the point 11, they're all talking about check-in. For example, like point 6, after 12 midnight check-in. In point 11, family check-in. But why do we need to separate them into different points? It's because we believe that different scenarios create different needs of customers and our guests. And we try our best to accommodate every single guest according to their needs. And that's what we hope we want to do. Well, Angela, would you also like to pick one to explain more in depth?
Let's look at the after 12 midnight check-in.
Of course.
So as you can see on our point of engagement as shown on the PowerPoint, we first will teach our staff about the scenario after 12 midnight check-in, and then we'll break down the service steps into detail, such as number 1, the bellman or doorman will escort the guest to the check-in desk, and then followed by introducing the guest to the front office team member, and then the front office team member will offer an in-room check-in option subject to the guest conditions. Furthermore, a verbiage will be recommended to our staff. We don't want our staff to actually be robotic. That's why during our training, we have also emphasized on our icon characters. Be passionate in what you do, confidence in front of our guests, responsive to all our guest needs, and last but not least, stylish in your own way. Right, Charles,
Yes.
to illustrate how our point of engagement works better, why don't you share with us a real life story?
Yes. Well, here comes the story that we collected right after training at the front office team members. Well, there is a guest called Mr. Pete from Singapore. He arrived in Hong Kong at about midnight 12 after a 12-hour delay of his flight. Okay, let's imagine you're the guest. How would you feel when you have just finished a 12-hour delay? Tired, of course. And that exactly happened to Mr. Pete as well. He was very tired waiting at the airport, and our limousine driver was going to pick him up to the hotel. At that moment, our driver was very responsive, noticed that he looked very tired, and talked to him to understand more about his situation. And what he did is he tested our front office team member in advance to create a very warm story. Well, we have actually created a short video, which will take around 1 minute. Angela, you got a mission? Can you also help me to have a look at the video and spot out some topics that we taught in the class and they apply perfectly in this case?
Okay, I might need all the audience to help me.
Yeah, please enjoy.
Implementation phrase. We ask ourselves, what else we can do to create a we love to care culture around the training. Therefore, we have implemented our town hall events. I guess a lot of hotels has town hall, like you talk about figures, business goal. But here at our town hall, we don't only talk about that. We also invite our rank and file staff. It could be a housekeeper, it could be a waitress from the restaurant. They will come up on the stage and proudly share their story because we believe in the effect of storytelling. And apart from that, we invite our departmental coach to spread the words on the floor for our We Love to Care training. And also, we have carried out a story competition. Every month, all our staff members would vote for the best story for really attractive reward. So far, since the last 7 months, we have received about 370 stories from our staff member already. Last but not least, to remind our staff about our We Love to Care culture, we have created some brand items, such as storybooks, and also stationaries.
Stationaries is here. Yep.
Stationaries. And also travel amenities. Yes. We want their heart to be with icon, even they're on vacations. And we want to make sure that they feel and touch the We Love to Care culture. The HR team has also created an Icon Star program, which is a reward system to reward our outstanding contributions for our staff on an annual basis, reinforcing the caring culture of the hotel. We then move into the evaluation phase, where we believe that measuring the training effectiveness is essential. Therefore, prior to the end of our 3 days training, we have implemented 50 multiple choice tests and also role play. So all of our staff has to pass the multiple choice and role play with 90%, so then they will be certified as our We Love to Care ambassador with this lovely pin on our uniform.
But in terms of the whole hotel, to measure the effectiveness, TripAdvisor ranking is one of the indicators that we're looking at. Before the training was launched back to March in 2017, we were actually number 5. For those, we slipped down a bit from 3rd to 5. That means a lot to us because we really rely on that. And after training, among 27 hotels in Hong Kong, we back to number 3, and we are able to sustain until today. The second one is about using service audit result to measure the behavioral change. Well, before the training was launched in 2017 year end, we did something like that, and we scored a range of score among 78 to 100. After training, we did it in 2018. We scored 89 to 100, which showed a very positive change in attitude and service skills of our colleagues. Another one is learning outcome. We hope our people to be able to personalize service. Therefore, we analyze different reviews on different TripAdvisor platform and other reviews. Well, to look at how they describe our our service. So we calculate how many reviews that they describe our service to be like personalized, customized, and other synonyms. Before the training was launched, we got 23 in each month around. And after training, we jumped to 80. And this is really a great, brilliant performance of our people, right?
Yes, Charles. And all the results that Charles has mentioned has been proven by a semantic analysis, which is an analysis generated by a third-party review. It breaks down mentions and of the guest review into hundreds of keywords. And then it analyzes the sentiment of each keyword, classifying it to either positive or negative. Here we have summarized all the positive keywords on the semantic analysis, and you can see Hotel Icon has consistently been number 1 on the ranking compared to the other 4 hotels, international chain hotel on TripAdvisor. Another way to measure our training effectiveness is to look into real-life story. So I would like to share with you our recent publication on SCF-MP featuring our hotels and trainings. And on the picture, the fine lady is our elite management trainee, Pavitra, who is also in the room with us.
Yes.
She is a native Sri Lankan and also bachelor degree student of the School of Hotel and Tourism Management. And during the interview, she has mentioned that the Relove to Care training has really equipped her with the essential guest service skills and most importantly, how to touch the heart of the guest. And she would further like to implement this back to her home country when she's going to run her family-owned restaurant and hotels. We are very proud to see that our training has such positive impacts to students from all around the world. Last but not the least, we would like to share with you a quote from our General Manager, Mr. Hkma. The Relove to Care training program developed internally will mentor future leaders and innovators contributing to the Hong Kong tourism. Thank you very much for your time. We hope you have enjoyed our presentation.
Okay, thank you, Angela Charles.
Thank you.
I think instead of actually asking questions from the adjudicators, can I invite Angela to do some more dancing?
Wow.
I can do that not later. On the award presentation.
Okay.
Let's wait for her.
Let's wait for that.
Stay behind.
Okay, who would like to ask the first question? Okay, Victor?
Yes, you may have not shown your 3 levels of excellence, right? But I noticed from the submission that you have 3 levels from operational to emotional excellence. And what I'm interested, and actually emotional excellence is really a differentiator from all other training as far as hospitality training is concerned. How did you conduct your emotional excellence training to your staff or your interns, whatever, so that they become really from the heart, from emotional feeling rather than just operational like a robot?
Yes, true. Well, thank you very much for your question. Well, actually, we believe one thing is that creating memorable experience, being personalized, there's no fixed formula, right? And we always want to lead by example. Of course, we need to make them understand the philosophy behind why is it so important. However, we invite line managers, line staff colleagues to share their successful cases. We also collect different reviews with good story and share it on regular basis, on a weekly basis to everyone in this hotel to try to encourage our people, the interns, the full-time, to create more stories. At the same time, we, just like Angela has mentioned, we got a staff program, which is very important when we are trying to encourage holistic development. Creating story is one of the criteria for them to score the icon star, the score, to accumulate certain score for us. And we do recommend them leading by example, telling them importance, and leading them to the way that they can create memorable experience.
I guess another very important point is about storytelling in Hotel Icon. It's not only about division heads or department heads telling the story. That's why in our town hall meeting and also in our departmental coach meeting, we invite all these line staff members who has created memorable experience for our guests to be on the stage themselves, so that they can talk about the story, how Relove to Care training has impacted them, and how we enable them to do so.